Before we begin, a big thank you to Ubisoft for sponsoring today's video. Click on the link in the description below to play the game now on Steam. Hey, it's the Backlogs. Welcome to Lemon. Wait, no, that's not right. Hold on, let me just... Hey, it's Lemon. Welcome to the Backlogs. Got an interesting situation for you all today. Anyone here remember Prince of Persia? Chances are you do, considering there have been several entries to the series throughout the years. And which one you remember probably depends on your age. But regardless of which one comes to mind, we all remember the mechanic that put it on the video game map, the reversal of time. So, when Ubisoft approached me about challenge running their latest entry that came out in the beginning of this year, I didn't have to think too long about it. I haven't played a Prince of Persia game since Sands of Time back in 2003, and I'm curious to see where they've taken the series since then. But we can't just play Prince of Persia. No, if we're gonna dive back into this series after a 20-year hiatus, we're diving in headfirst. So with that in mind, today we're gonna find out. Can you beat Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, without basic attacks? Right then, new game! And would you look at that, they knew I was coming. Guided, please. I get lost so fast in Metroidvanias. Oop, wait, we got some lore first. Don't worry, I'll give you the spark notes. The land of Persia is not doing well. 30 years of drought and war have destroyed the land, and the Persian army is pushed to the brink of collapse. However, that's where we come in. We are one of 7, the Immortals. Legendary warriors of the Persian Empire who can turn the tide of any battle. And turning that tide is our first mission of the game. Meet Sargon, our protagonist. He's a Prince of Persia. Oh hey, I said the thing. And he's here with the rest of the Immortals to take out the enemy general. Tutorial time. Looks like we've got the Metroidvania basics to start. We can jump, slide through enemies and wall gaps, and jump through platforms. So far so good. As for combat, we've got several combos at our disposal, with much jumping and sprint kicks to be had. So, while I sprint towards the enemy general and push forward in the tutorial, let's go over the rules. Once the tutorial ends, the challenge run will officially start. All those fancy kicks and slashes you saw me do earlier will no longer be allowed, and I'll be forced to find a new way to kill enemies and progress through the game. And when I get ranged attack options later in the game, those attacks will also be off limits. Because this is a Metroidvania, I will have to use my basic attacks and ranged attacks to solve puzzles every now and again, but as far as combat goes, they're completely off limits. Clear so far? Don't worry, it'll get clearer as we go. Starting with our first technique. That's right, Prince of Persia has parries. Ooh, damn, and ripostes, apparently. Now unfortunately, performing a parry does not mean you immediately get a riposte. Only certain attacks from enemies will grant you what the game calls a vengeful counter. If you see that yellow flash, chances are a successful parry will kill that enemy. There are 2 other types of enemy attacks, but we'll get to that later. My friend Varm gives me a health potion, which replenishes whenever I reach a checkpoint, and with a charged attack, it's time to kill us a general. Hello there. Time for the first boss, Yuvishka, the Kushan general. So, let's talk about those 2 other types of attacks. If the attack has no color, you can parry it, but not riposte. If the attack is tinged red, you better get out quick, because it's unparryable. And remember how you can riposte yellow attacks on normal enemies? Yeah, that works for bosses too. Dang, Prince of Persia, calm down. We're still in the tutorial. You don't need to go this hard. But after a very simple fight consisting of a flurry of parries and combos, the tutorial boss is defeated by his own hubris. Got him! But with the tutorial complete, the challenge run can officially begin. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because this button masher just got a whole lot harder. I get a special sash showing my service to the royal family of Persia. Very nice, very nice. Confirm that the rest of the Immortals are partying up on the roof, then head up to join them. I get chastised a bit by my mentor, learning that Sargon is a bit of a braggart. I mean, I did just kill the enemy army's general, so you know. And after a little bit of wall jumping and flagpole vaulting, we finally make it to the roof. Yes, Orad. Yes, we can. Lemon needs him some lemonade. All this general killing is thirsty work.
Varm! Prince Hassan has been kidnapped.
Aw, man. Are you sure? Can we just pretend he wasn't for a few minutes? Tell you what, I'll go get us a table at the tavern. You all catch up. Ah, great. Assassins. Guess that lemonade is gonna have to wait. Well, it's time to reveal the mechanic that makes this entire run possible. Initiate challenge run mode. Athra Surge, aka my special bar. When you attack enemies, the bar fills up, and when you take damage, the bar empties. But this begs the question, how am I gonna use my special attacks if I can't use basic attacks to fill the bar? Well, that sounds like a problem for future Lemon, because the first one is free. Yeah, that'll work. Ah, crap, more assassins. Oh, but would you look at that? I may not be able to attack them, but I can parry them. And unless my eyes deceive me, it looks like parries fill the Athra bar. How unfortunate. That said, there is a slight problem. Notice how my Athra bar is full, but the attack symbol isn't glowing? Turns out my Athra attack has a 25-second cooldown, which means every time I attack, I have to then survive for another half a minute before I can retaliate again. Which is why when I finally can attack, I need to make sure that every enemy is in range of my blades. Oh, come on, more? Well, time to reveal my ultimate move. Run away screaming! Oh, hey, it's my mentor. And she's kidnapping the prince. Okay, I think I see what's happening here. Unfortunately, she got away, so I can't ask her any questions about motive or lore, but good news! Her escape means that it's time to face the official first boss of the challenge run, the Sword Master. Not too much to talk about here. He has some unstoppable attacks that we need to dodge through, but he also has plenty of parryable attacks as well. And after building up my Athra bar, I can finally attack back, with devastating results. Half a minute later, and it's over. Not a bad start. But with the prince kidnapped, it's time for the immortals to give chase, all the way to Mount Kath. Why here? Well, according to legend, an ancient god lives here, the Simorgh. Throughout history, the Simorgh is the one who appoints the next king or queen of Persia, and the gates to the god only open for the royal family, which would explain the kidnapping. So, with basic motives uncovered, it's time to get into the meat of the game.
Wait for me here. Don't worry, I won't be long.
Oh, Sargon, don't lie to that poor horse. Right away, we can tell something is off in this temple. Time seems uncooperative here, causing certain things to pause at a specific point in time, and other things to age rapidly, as if over the course of weeks, months, or even years. This also causes things that we've done to suddenly become undone, like locking us all inside the mountain. Cool, no, this is fine, I feel very welcome here. And with no other option but to move forward, we all split up to find the prince. Except for me. I get to learn firsthand that time is not the only thing wrong in this mountain. There's also a curse that brings back the dead, as if we didn't have enough problems today. But I did learn something interesting while fighting the undead. Not only does this enemy have a repostable attack, but any enemies that are in range of your swords when you do the riposte are also hit by the attack. That certainly saves time. I also noticed that killing enemies gives me some sort of crystals. Not sure what those are for just yet, but I'm sure we'll figure that out later. I do some more exploring, collecting crystals as I go, and learn the invaluable lesson that ranged attacks can be reflected back at enemies. So that's another method of fighting back added to the list. It's not just arrows either. You think to use my own children against me? Please. Oh, look, a tree sapling. Never mind, I guess it's a full-grown tree now. Time is timey-wimey and all that. These trees, called whack-whack trees, act as checkpoints where we can heal and change equipment. Oh, I also met a new friend. She seems friendly enough, since she handed me an Eye of the Wanderer, which is a fancy way of saying that she gave me a map. Looks like your standard fare. I can work with this. Unlike other games I've played though, you can also take screenshots and add them to your map. This makes it so that when you're stuck or hit a dead end, you have a quick and easy way to remember why you couldn't push forward, letting you assess if you've gotten a new ability that would break down that brick wall. Very cool idea. I wish other games had this. Faraba also informs us that those crystals we've been collecting are called time crystals and are a form of currency here. Simple enough. I do a little more hardcore parkour, add a dash of puzzle solving to the mix, and find a ball of trapped time, which I immediately and unquestioningly tear to shreds. I'm sure it's fine. Nothing bad ever happened when cutting into the fabric of time itself. Oh good, flying monsters now. This'll only take half a minute. Or I'll miss completely. Time for Plan B. I find a mage hiding amongst the ruins, who turns out to be a merchant that we'll be coming back to several times throughout the run, and she also gave me my first amulet, a piece of equipment that I can attach to my necklace. This one gives me a little extra health. No complaints here. The rest of her inventory is also pretty useful, ranging from items that increase my health bar, items that let me use more amulets, amulets themselves, and even more or better health pots. Sounds like you and I are gonna be good friends. At a whack-whack tree, I equip my first amulets. Looks like we're using a slot system, with some amulets costing more slots to use. You can also change your skin at the whack-whack tree as well. The DLCs that I have let me dress up as the Sands of Time Prince of Persia, or in big old fancy armor. I'm an armor boy at heart, so you know what I chose. Side note, I'm probably not going to linger on it too much, since it would just be me saying, I dodged, ducked, dipped, dived, and dodged over and over again, but suffice it to say that the platforming elements you expect from this kind of game are very present. If you're not well versed in Metroidvania-style platforming, you will be, and quickly. But enough about my amazing platforming skills that I definitely have. Let's get to the next boss. Oh, is this a bad time? The Undead Prisoner. Interesting choice of weapon there, but I can work with it. The prisoner has mostly unblockable attacks, so you'll need to position yourself carefully and dodge as best you can, but he also has a repostable attack, which lets us do a not insignificant amount of damage. Combine that with our Athra rush attack, and this boss is as good as undead. Oh hey look, a warping boy. That's normal. Also completely normal is the fact that this tree has a face to go along with it. I guess this is a spirit that lives in the tree? Maybe? I'm not entirely sure, but he drops some lore and even gives me a new Athra surge, so I'm happy he's here. This surge creates an explosion and healing zone when used. Explosion, you say? Looks like this attack also has a 15-second cooldown, though it requires 2 Athra bars to use. Okay, fair trade-off. But more on that later, because it's time for the next boss, the Erlik. The Erlik has a bit more health than the last few bosses we've faced, so learning its moves is going to be more important. It has a poison vomit attack, a charge attack that you can parry, and a hoof attack if you try to sneak behind it. After bursting it down to less than 25% health, I decided to give my explosion attack a try. And while it certainly does what it says it does, the damage is pretty pitiful. The healing is nice though. Anyway, that's another boss down. And for our efforts, we get a good number of crystals and a new amulet that converts damage taken into Athra. Why do I get the feeling that's going to be very important later? Oh hey, would you look at that? Well that's unsettling. Looks like I had Menelaus' bow, the archer immortal. Not sure what I was doing with it, but I certainly don't need it anymore. I don't need it anymore, but I need it now. Okay, wait, as stated in the beginning, while this bow can act as a basic ranged attack, we won't be using it for that. What we will be using it for, though, is puzzle solving and platforming. I also found Faraba again, who apparently will be selling maps at each location we visit. Normally, I'd be down for that, but because I run away from 95% of the enemies on the map, I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to be very time crystal poor this run, so I'm going to pass on her offer. Oh hey, Menelaus is alive. I guess that means we're dealing with multiple timelines. Menelaus lets me keep the copy of his bow that I found, and tells me it actually has a chakram ability. Unfortunately, as an attack, I can't use this power. But as a puzzle-solving tool, well, that's another story entirely. Because it bears mentioning, there are oodles of collectibles to find while running around Mount Kaf. You've got these prophecy urns that give you bits and pieces of a greater vision, these Xerxes coins that are hidden behind extremely difficult platforming puzzles and are used as a late game currency, Damascus ingots, which are used to upgrade your weapons, and everyday collectibles, which don't have any utilitarian purpose, but do give you boatloads of lore if you want to know more about Mount Kaf and the plot itself. We won't be focusing on much of that either, since I'm having a hard enough time just surviving out here. And besides, gotta leave something for all of you to find if you haven't played the game yourself yet. I go back to the mage and upgrade my health pots in quantity and quality, then find another one of my friends, Artaban. Apparently, he's been having issues here. His mind keeps playing tricks on him, and time is flowing faster for him than it is for me. Rough stuff. However, he does give me a new Athra surge, Vayu's Wave. This attack unleashes a wave of energy, hitting every enemy in its path multiple times. It also works in midair, so that's helpful. Interestingly, it too is a level 1 Athra surge, but can still be equipped, which means that while I have 2 Athra energy bars, I can actually use one attack and then the other, since they both only cost 1 bar. They also both have that 25-second cooldown, but at least now I can attack more than once. I also found a strange portal, which took me to the forge of an actual goddess. Just Prince of Persia things, you know how it is. The goddess Kahiva is another merchant, letting me purchase new abilities for my weapons, a few amulets, and even lets me upgrade the effectiveness of my weapons and amulets themselves. I buy the Ecbatana seal, because I hate chasing after loose currency in platforming games, then make the mental note to come back later when I've got more cash. And the best way to get said cash is to take on another boss, Jahandar, Guardian of the Citadel. Nice kitty, good kitty, angry kitty, angry kitty! Alright, time for a true fight. No more mini-bosses, this is the real deal. Not only does Jahandar have several repositioning attacks that you need to dodge, but he also has a tail attack that creates a pool of poison you need to jump over, as well as your basic claw attacks that can be parried, which means that we can test out our new Athra attack. Ooh, more of that, yes please. Oop, repose time. God, this game hits hard. Time for phase 2. Jahandar summons a ball of negative energy that constantly tries to shoot at me, so that complicates things, and also learns several new attacks as well. But keep up the pressure and steal Athra energy from his attacks whenever possible, and you'll eventually get to phase 3. Not so fun fact, if you burst a boss down into their next phase, they get a defense buff until they officially enter their next phase, probably to keep people like me from just skipping phases. Bummer, but I get it. In phase 3, the boss takes off the training wheels. Attacks get a bit faster, new attacks enter the fray, and some old attacks get new animations added onto them. But at the end of the day, the Manticore is no match for my blasts of power. God dang, Prince of Persia anime when? I'd watch the hell out of that. But with Jahandar defeated, I find my prize. A feather from the Simorgh. I'll take that, thank you. Well, that sounded good. Definitely not getting weird vibes over here. Besides, guess who just got special powers? It's me. I got special powers. Something I noticed, they made the animation look like the wall run from the older games. That's a nice touch. Uh-oh. Artaban's having a bad time of it. Guess time is playing tricks on him more than me. We better hurry up. My other friend Varum is also having some issues, getting the feeling that he's been here before. Also, quick side note, can we just appreciate the voice acting for a minute?
Varum? Are you alright?
Yes, all is well.
God, I love it when voice actors get a chance to really shine. What I don't love is that Varum gave me an amulet that grants me a 4th attack in my basic attack combo. Gee, thanks. Much more helpful is the fast travel system I just unlocked. Find these big statues around the world, and you can warp between them. Who's this guy? Are you a mini-boss or something? Well, let's see if we can't parry you to death. Dude, come on, don't make this weird. Just let me kill you like all... Well, this is certainly different. I break out of my cell, avoiding the guards as I go, and try to find an exit. There's several doors around, but they seem to require a key that I don't have. Oh, and ghosts. Also ghosts. But after much running and screaming, I finally find the front door, which lets me escape. No more of that, please. Now then, time for my revenge. Huh, okay. Put a pin in that one, I guess. I'll just take out my rage on this random guy instead. Sargon, buddy, we gotta find you a better outlet. After an enormous amount of puzzle platforming later, which now involves phasing objects in and out of reality, I find a new NPC, the Moon Gatherer. Our man here is collecting pieces of the stolen moon. You know what? Sure, why not? This isn't even the weirdest thing I've seen today. Oh, he even gave me a new amulet. This one gives me a bar of health after my health is reduced to 0. Hopefully we won't need it, but I've got some empty amulet slots to fill, so that'll do nicely. Right, moving on. Oh, hello there.
Give me your powers.
If you want them, come and claim them. Time to put our double Athra Surge to work. And boy howdy does it work great. Look at that damage. Unfortunately, alternate Sargon can use basic attacks, which means he can kickflip me into the air. Ooh, he also has Athra attacks. Interesting. Shame he won't get to use it twice. Another boss down. And wouldn't you know it, now we can do that fancy Athra attack he had. Looks like it's mostly for aerial enemies, so not sure how useful that'll be considering I run away most of the time, but good to have just in case. Right, let's speed things up a bit. I've started to get pretty good at using my Athra attacks, and parrying has always been second nature for the most part, so enemies aren't really an issue. The puzzles though, that's where the true challenge is. We're talking multi-part solutions that have to be done in the correct order, and sometimes with time limits. Nothing so difficult to the point of frustrating, but there are certainly some head scratchers here. I am grateful that most of them have a shortcut to unlock once you've completed them though. Makes any backtracking you have to do bearable. Oh look, a wise old man who can see the past, present, and future.
You don't have time, I don't have time, nobody has time.
You're right, I don't have time. Skip, 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 skip. Side note, I wonder if the developers realized that you can just infinitely jump up walls. Some of the puzzles seem to suggest they didn't, but it's not like this is super hard to pull off or anything. I don't know, just a little trick that might help with some of the platforming. Anyway, skipping right along, it looks like we finally caught up to Anahita. And after a little anime action scene, we get between her and Prince Hassan, securing the prince's safety. Oh good, Varum is here too. Looks like the odds are stacked in my favor.
Varum?
What? Why did... Aw, man, are we the bad guys?
What will you do about it?
I mean, fight you, I guess. Oh god, this guy's lore walking and everything. That's how you know we're in trouble. Well, at least some of his attacks are parryable, so we got that going for us. Which means that once my Aether bar is charged, I can... Okay, well, maybe I accidentally bumped into one of his animations. Maybe if we attack from long range... Oh boy! I tried time and time again just to be safe, but yeah, 0 chance of getting in a hit. There's no way to win. But then I realized, there's no way to win. Better to just lay down and get it over with. Ah, screw it, one more try.
Not this time.
Oh sure, not that time, but what about this time? Did you see that? I did it! I scratched him!
First time for everything.
This fight might be winnable after all. Okay, maybe not.
I will erase every chapter, every word of your story. I can undo it all.
Well, thanks for fixing my sword wound, I guess. Now would you please let me go? You know, I probably should have worded that better. And that's it. That's the entire game. Oh, wait, I'm still alive. And if I had to guess, the old man has something to do with it. Now then, where are we? You know what? Never mind. I don't need to know. This place is weird. Even the merchants are more off base than usual.
I won't take them, understood? No crystals!
And yet, it feels weirdly familiar. Wait a minute. Wait a minute! This place is pretty rough. We've got all sorts of traps, poison pools, rising murky water, you know, all the classics. It even has another alternate Sargon fight. This Sargon is a little beefier than last time, and he's got more moves hidden up his sleeveless sleeves as well, including a new Athra attack. Ooh, a long-range one, judging by the looks of it. I'll take that, thank you very much. Yup, Arash's Ray, a long-range bow attack that even lets you aim it before firing. Looks like it's another level 2 surge, but I still might give that a look. And would you look at that, another feather. Considering how well touching the last one went, it only makes sense that we touch another one. And wouldn't you know it, it's well worth the pain. With the touch of a button, I can make a copy of myself, then press the button again to roll back time. Lots of applications with that one. Oh hey, it's Nayit. Apparently, Varum has turned the rest of the immortals against me, claiming that I killed the prince and fled with Anahita. He also used his +5 charisma to convert them all to his cause, enlisting them to help him usurp the throne. Great, can't wait. I helped the Moon Gatherer out of a predicament, used my new time warp ability to do some puzzle solving, abused the wall jump mechanic I figured out earlier to skip a few more jumping puzzles, and there's a giant crab. Wait a minute! The crab boss fight is actually a bit harder than you'd think. It doesn't have very many parryable attacks, so you have to be patient when building up your Athra energy. And don't get cute and try to hide on its weak side. It doesn't like that very much. Eventually I was able to find enough moves to build my energy up, and by the looks of things, the damage is good enough to get the job done. As for the bow attack we learned earlier, it takes a while to build up, especially on this boss fight, but whoo baby is the damage worth it. But with one more final attack, the crab goes back to being nothing more than seafood. It also dropped the Agony Amulet, which makes enemies explode after death. Oh my god, say less. But after an hour of scrambling through the depths, we finally escape, find a new skin just lying around in a chest. No thank you. Then head to the Goddess Blacksmith to upgrade the Agony Amulet to +2. Because if we're gonna make explosions happen, they gotta be big. Otherwise, what's the point? Anyway, after much running and jumping all over the mountain, and some heavy puzzle solving, which involved doing a puzzle 3 different ways, with 3 different versions of myself to get the desired outcome, multiple times I might add, I finally unlock my next superpower. Clairvoyance, which lets me swap back and forth between the physical and the ethereal world. For better or for worse. So, with a whole new layer added to my retinue of platforming mechanics, I go back to the prison area, where I can now exert my vengeance on the jailkeeper. Or rather, I would have, but I don't have enough energy. Considering the only way to kill him is to beat him in the physical realm, then quickly kill him in the ethereal realm, I would need 2 attacks. 2 attacks that I do not have because of the 2 energy bars required for the range attack. But after a quick reset and my old Athra attacks on hand, I was able to quickly dispatch the jailkeeper with minimal issues. Oh wait, he has multiple phases. Great. Ironically, my super intelligent plan to use 2 level 1 Athra surges wasn't even how I ended up killing him. Somehow, I accidentally killed him when riposting a basic enemy. I win, I guess? Oh hey, it's warping through time boy. I try to give the very panicked boy advice, telling him to control his powers by, just doing them better. Then make my way into a pit at the bottom of the world, where several seals have been put in place. Naturally, my first instinct is to smash the seals, because nothing bad ever happens when you break ancient seals. Though I guess I'm still missing a power, because the old man here tells me I'm not ready to face the darkest soul that's waiting on the other side.
As for me, I don't want to be here when all hell breaks loose.
What do you mean, when all hell breaks loose?
I do want to watch, though.
What are you, a member of my audience? I grab myself another health potion, find the wall where all those prophecy urns go up, and apparently give me time crystals, health pieces, and amulets, then find another alternate Sargon. 2, actually. Much like the last few Sargon fights, there's not much to it, since I know my moves better than anyone else. Except for that one. That one's new. Oh, damn. Okay, Sargon, I see you. Round 2. Looks like the alternate Sargons aren't pulling any punches. They're setting up healing pools and everything. Funnily enough, though, the healing pool is designed to heal Sargon. And wouldn't you know it, I'm Sargon. Thanks, Sargon! Wait, what? See, this is why I hate writing about anything that gets timey-wimey. It's super fun to watch and interact with, but man oh man is it hard to write about without it becoming a complete mess. In any case, new Athra Surge. It's another level 2, and lets you warp above enemies before slamming back down. Very neat stuff. Back to running around aimlessly looking for the way forward, I find a chest that— why is it always mimics? Anywho, into the forest where I get drop-kicked by a tree, you know, as you do, where I bump into Time Warp Boy again.
What's your name?
Farum.
Well, that certainly complicates things. But I also found an amulet that should help out a bit in our travels. Elusive Water. When equipped, you can dodge in place and simultaneously deal a bit of damage to the enemy. You'll love to hear it. More hardcore parkour through the forest, involving at least 4 of the 5 Ds of dodgeball, and we finally arrived at the center of the forest, where the Forest Queen sits waiting for me. Nah, you don't look so tough. This should only take a "Ooh, she's got a summon." This one's a doozy. Much like the Manticore fight, this is a real boss, not a mini-boss that only has 5 moves. She's got several attacks where she and her beast attack in tandem, attacks where she creates areas of denial that you need to carefully remove with your arrows, or not so carefully remove with your face, and a heck of a health bar. This one's gonna take a bit. Oh lord, now what? Is this phase 2? Oh good, you've brought me to the upside down. No, this is fine. This is fine, I love this so much! Once you escape the nightmare zone, the rest of phase 2 is just as intense. It almost feels like every attack she has is a tandem attack at this point, and it's getting a bit difficult to find attacks that I can parry for energy. And after another round of getting pushed and shoved in the upside down, it's time for phase 3. And yes, things are somehow getting worse. Ooh, a riposte! Get him, Sargon! Another tandem attack, eh? Guess who's learning? Come on, come on! Oh, are you kidding me? Heh! 1 HP in a dream, just the way I like it. Guess it's time to find out whose dream is stronger. As if you had to ask. Bad dog becomes good dog now that the Queen of the Forest is dead, and with that done, we get a new health bar, as well as a new feather power. You know, that cannot be good for my heart. I should probably stop collecting these. Ooh, dimensional rifts! Wait, what was I saying? Basically a dimensional pocket. I can grab items from around the map, then launch them at rocket speed from my bag of holding with explosive results. And for those of you wondering, yes, you can absolutely jam an enemy into your bag of holding as long as it's roughly the same size as you. They don't tend to work well against crumbling walls, which is a bummer, but it is extremely satisfying to capture enemies and press on without stopping. And, as an added bonus, when you release them from your portable prison, they actually fight other enemies around them for a short amount of time. Playing pocket monsters wasn't on my bingo card for today, but I'm not upset about it. And after getting distracted by a side quest that required me to do some truly brain-splitting parkour, I was ready to move forward to the next boss. By the way, just to make sure you don't get the wrong idea, the controls are very tight and responsive, which is why this level of insane platforming is even possible. And to the game's credit, all the extremely difficult platforming is for side quests and extra collectibles, not the main path. So this is just me tormenting myself. Again. But with the final seal to the portal finally destroyed, we can go see this darkest soul everyone keeps talking about. Time to dive in headfirst. Huh. Prince of Persia sure knows how to keep the platforming fresh, I'll give it that. I also found one of the most important amulets for the run, the Gleaming Lion. When equipped, my parries build up even more Athra than before, which means a lot less time risking my life and a lot more time being able to fight back. I bump that up to max as quickly as I can, finish exploring the sand pit, which somehow keeps finding new ways to be even worse with each passing minute, help the Moon Gatherer out of another jar, and finally reach the boss's lair. Alright, beastie, where are you? Everyone's been talking you up, so you better deliver. Yeah, you'll do. Right from the start, this boss is different. Not only is she faster than other bosses, but she also has attacks that cover the entire arena. Attacks that I'm not quite sure how to dodge, if I'm being honest. I don't doubt that there's a way to do it, but I'm blanking. Probably something to do with time warping and or the ethereal realm. Not sure. And we're only in the first phase. If this is how bad it is to start, I'm a bit nervous what the next phase has to offer. As is to be expected, phase 2 means a whole slew of new attacks, including a crystallized breath attack that feels all too familiar, and a repostable attack as well. Nani? Face it, Snake. You've met your match. Okay, seriously though, where's my Prince of Persia anime? Where's my anime game? But after a comedy of errors almost obliterates my attempt, I get the final hit, and the darkest soul falls to my hand once again. I get 4 celestial arrows, which is a badass band name, I call it, which when shot at the sky from certain points in the mountain, reveal constellations. So, that's cool I guess. Apparently, revealing all 4 constellations will let me change one moment in time. But at what cost, I wonder? I grab another electric feather, much to my poor heart's chagrin, which grants me the ability to double jump. Finally, now we're getting somewhere. The enemies grow larger and more difficult, the traps and platforming do the same in their own way, and the aesthetics of the world, well, let's just say someone clearly had fun designing this. I mean, look at this. A ship frozen in time the instant it was guaranteed death for everyone aboard? Haunting and inspired. 10 out of 10. But now's not the time to admire the scenery. We've got a fight on our hands. Orad, our friend for years, has come to test our strength. Immortals. Today we'll put that name to the test. Alright, let's see what we're working with here. Huge health pool, decently strong attacks with very few openings for parries. We might be in for a bad time. Well, at least he can't move very fast, so that's one thing we have over—
Ooh, not the face!
But after several health pots, we've got him down to phase 2. Why is he smiling? Oh, we're in trouble. We now have tornadoes that require time warping to avoid, which took me longer to figure out than I'd like to admit, as well as several long-range attacks that we now have to worry about, and all of this on top of his old moves. The worst part is that of all these crazy moves he's doing, there's like 3 that I can parry successfully. The rest are either impossible or very difficult to figure out. But after several game overs, I was finally able to make it to phase 3. And this is where my personal hell began. Not only are Orad's attacks all beefed up to 11 with lightning, but guess what lightning's special effect is? Oh, would you look at that? I've been disarmed. This means that I not only have to parry his attacks to build up energy, but I also have to avoid attacks as often as possible. Otherwise I won't be able to use or build up my Athra. Quite the catch-22. Combine that with the boss's arena enveloping attacks, and you've got— uh-oh. But then, against all odds, I do it. I get off the parry, find an opening in his attacks, and let loose. Yeah, go on and take a breather there, Sargon. Everyone knows you can only do your anime super move once per arc. Oh, come on, he's still alive? What's it gonna take to kill this guy? Oh wait, he was dead. He just didn't know it yet. And with his death, a new Athra Surge. A level 3 attack that engulfs the entire screen, tossing enemies into the air and smashing them into the ground. And yes, you heard me right, level 3. We now have 3 charges to our Athra bar. I don't know if we'll ever use Bahamut's Rage, but 3 energy bars is absolutely welcome. Another Celestial Arrow fired, another Constellation revealed. 2 more to go. A few handy haversack puzzles later, and we bump into Anahita. Unlike the others, it seems like she doesn't want to fight. Makes sense, considering they're hunting her down too. She also reveals that she kidnapped Prince Hassan on the Queen's orders. The plot thickens. But with lore obtained and another Celestial Arrow fired, we only have 1 more Constellation to go. I upgrade the amulet that gives me Athra when I get hurt to maximum, which I probably should have done ages ago, work my way through the hardcorest of parkourist, and find myself up against another one of my friends, Menelaus, the Arrow of Destiny. At this rate, the only immortal left is going to be me. Kinda tarnishes the name, huh? Unlike the other bosses, Menelaus seems to understand his strength. He's constantly moving, constantly staying out of range of my blades, and very good at creating a difficult to navigate arena. It's not easy, but you can close the gap. The timing is just really tight, and much like Orad, he has a massive amount of health. But after a bit of practice, I think I've got the timing of his attacks down and can dodge them with relative ease. Time for phase 2. Seriously? Is that all you've got? Wait, did you just pull an Uraraka on me? I'd be more upset with you, but I'm a bit busy at the moment to feel anything other than pain. Wait, that was it? That one attack was phase 2? Well, phase 3, I guess. Menelaus seems much more aggressive now. He attacks rapidly, seems less interested in keeping his distance, and occasionally even throws his chakram to add to the mayhem. He also keeps doing that. What is that? What are you trying to do? Oh, that. He's trying to do that. But after successfully parrying him out of the air and hitting him with a final Athra Surge, the fight is over. Time to turn the tables on you, my friend. Jesus wept, Sargon. You were supposed to hit him, not send his soul into the stratosphere. But with that new power acquired, that's another immortal who doesn't live up to the name. And I'm starting to run dangerously low on friends. Oh hey, new ability. Well, that doesn't really take the sting out of— oh hey, new Athra Surge. Oh my god, you mean that Kamehameha wasn't a one-off? Another level 3 Surge, this one can be used as a parry, and can even be used against attacks that shouldn't be parryable. Shut up and take my money. But with the last Celestial Arrow fired, we've done it. All 4 constellations have been found. Which means it's time to head to the observatory in the center of the mountain. You know, the observatory that I forgot to mention up until this point. Just trust me, it's been there the whole time. And for reasons I don't fully understand, bringing all 4 constellations here has granted us the ability to return to a single point in time.
Varum?
Sorry, I didn't have time to think of a quip. Oh hey, that works. And so, with my anime arc complete, I can now...
Sargon, watch out!
Huh? Oh, it's that kind of anime. And so round 2 with Varum begins. That's right, buddy, I've seen your moves before. And now for the big question. Can I actually use my surges this time around? Survey says yes. And despite Varum's ability to slow and reverse time, it looks like some of my surges can actually power through his attacks, giving me and past me even more openings. And would you look at that? Phase 2. That was quick. Wait, no, past me, you don't have any powers. Ooh, I'm gonna feel that one later. Thankfully, Varum is just as easy to hit without my backup. And despite his fancy moves, it would appear that my time playing through the rest of the game has taught me well. Well, that and acquiring all of my new abilities. That helped too. Sorry, Varum, but it looks like I'm too good for you. Wait, you could do that? Oh, come on. Now? You're gonna use your super move now? Dang it. So close. All right, new plan. You may be able to dodge my other surges, but can you dodge this? Combine my new power with the fact that I learned how to dodge his haste skill, and you've got a much faster, much easier fight than before. I mean, really, that level 3 surge is essentially an automatic phase transition. It's absolutely nuts. And despite Varum trying his best to stop the inevitable by slowing time, it still wasn't enough.
Victory is mine.
What the? Lore? Now? Well, might as well embrace it. Turns out, Varum is the rightful heir, and the current queen, who had no claim, murdered the current king, Varum, and the Simorgh, and usurped the throne. But due to some magic power granted by the Simorgh, Varum and the mountain were cursed, trapped in time. And now he's back, to reclaim the Simorgh's full power and take over Persia, the world, the universe? One of the above. But with me and the other Sargons combined, we get one final power, the Fabric of Time. Or as I like to call it, Hombre Araña Libre de Derechos de Autor. Let's stick with the Fabric of Time. Rolls off the tongue better. With the Fabric of Time, we can now whip our way around the map with ease, pulling Sargon towards targets, or, if it's light enough, pulling the target towards Sargon. This also works with enemies, and can even weaken a couple of them by stealing their armor. More methods of attack, good stuff all around. And with my new power in hand, I decided to go back a bit and visit a few places I had missed. And lo and behold, the most useful amulet in the game for my build was right at the beginning. Roxana's Gift, which restores health after every successful parry. Because it wouldn't be a Backlogs video if I wasn't cursed by my need to dive into every run blind. But after bumping that amulet up to maximum, because I'd be a fool not to, I used my new powers to climb to the top of the mountain, whipping my way past the icy walls, until I meet young Varum again. Young Varum seems like he's finally gained control over his powers, but apparently our Varum is what happens when he never does. Or rather, when gaining control of his powers required him to lose himself in the process. Sad, really. You know what isn't sad? Being able to Exodia obliterate basic enemies. If every game that ever existed could just add this in some way, that'd be great, thanks. Wait a minute, I recognize that voice. Guess the Moongatherer has gotten himself into more trouble again. Just in case it matters, I chose not to upcast Scorching Rays this time around, and with the Coffin Ghoul dead, the Moon Man is free to chase his moon pieces once more. And after ringing 3 giant gongs around the mountain peak, and fighting through several fight clubs along the way, usually resorting to my new bread and butter for a quick and easy victory, the door to the High Temple is now open for business. And wouldn't you know it, Varum is here visiting his dad. Varum decides he has better things to do, but ex-King Darius has time for me, so we get to do that now. This fight is something else. Darius has a huge sword that can cover entire portions of the arena and does massive amounts of damage, ice powers that both damage and freeze you, and, considering that my Athra Surge usually takes out entire phases of boss health, he also has way more health than anything I've fought up to this point. But so long as I make every attack count, and learn how to predict the king's attacks so I can avoid them properly, a few more bursts is enough to get him to phase 2. Oh good, he has a flame sword now. Great. So not only does this man focus on huge areas of denial, but he can also home in on you like a missile, lighting you and the entire arena on fire. In fact, in phase 3, he quite literally sets the entire arena on fire, and more or less becomes an anti-air cannon. It's crazy. And it gets even faster and crazier in phase 4. I'm over here just trying to catch my breath, and this man is just rapidly freezing and heating the arena over and over again. You ought to be careful, man. If you do that too fast, you'll... Oh, fuck. So maybe we dodge that one next time. But eventually, after a few game overs, I'm finally able to bring Darius down to 0. And with King Darius' sword crest, I now have the key that opens the doorway to the Simorg's chambers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Time for us to finally end this. One more boss. One more fight. No turning back now. Let's do this. Oops. Looks like we're a bit late to the party. Oop, there goes gravity. Hang on, everybody. Things are about to get... Oh, this isn't good. I think Varum destroyed, everything. Like, not just the mountain. Everything. Guess there's only one thing for it then. Time to find Varum. How's the saying go? Speak of the destroyer of all time and space and he shall appear? Something like that. Right then. You may be a god, but if video games have taught me anything, that's nothing that 2 small pieces of metal can't handle. Varum, the final boss. So many moves, so little time between them. It's safe to say that most of his attacks are unparryable, and you just have to play keep away. Others, like this one, require you to time warp to get away from them, but I'm clearly supposed to be dealing damage while he's in his crystal, because after the attack, I just take unavoidable damage anyway. So that's going to be a problem throughout the fight. Our best bet to counter all of this is to parry any and every attack we can, since we not only get energy, but health as well from our parries. And if RNG is kind, we'll be able to negate the unavoidable damage. Long story short, we're in for a bad time. But if you're more of a visual learner, the next 5 seconds are a great summary of how this fight is going to go. Kia! Wait a minute, I got him. Well, that was easier than expect. Oh, I see what's happening here. He doesn't have phases throughout his health bar. Each phase is a health bar. Time for phase 2, which is a bit of the same, but this time with a giant sword to add to his attacks. Oh, and whatever this is. Yeah, just go ahead and throw that one on the pile of attacks that I can't comprehend. Thanks. Oh, and this one. Go ahead and throw that one on there too. And if you thought that was bad, well, here's phase 3, Double Trouble. Personally, this phase was actually easier than the others, mainly because it means I have twice as many chances to heal and regain my energy. And more energy means a faster build-up to my Super Saiyan Surge. Combine that with my other attacks, and phase 3 ends faster than all the rest. Time to die, Varum!
It's over.
One thing you seem to be forgetting, Varum. I've been holding back this entire time. In fact, I'm still holding back. You may not realize it, but you lost a long time ago. Because unlike you, Varum, I am very hard-headed. My turn. Well, look who's back. Come to your senses yet?
You were right, Sargon. The Simorg's powers were never ours.
You think? So, now that we know that I'm right, what do we do about that? It's not like we can just will the universe back into existence. And I don't know about you, but I'm already running out of stuff to talk about. Varum? And there you have it, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. For the record, that's not the actual ending, but I'm not one to spoil a game for the audience, especially when it's worth playing. This was a fantastic game, and I'm really glad to see Ubisoft did good by the Prince of Persia franchise after all of these years. And if what you saw today has you interested in playing the game for yourself, the game is officially on Steam as of August 8th. It also comes with 3 free DLCs. The Warrior's Path, which added a permadeath and speedrun mode, Boss Attack, which lets you refight your favorite bosses or fight every boss in a gauntlet, and Divine Trials, which has boatloads of new platforming and combat challenges for more experienced players, with new amulets and skins as a reward. There's also a new story DLC coming out in September, so now's the perfect time to jump in and discover all of the content that I left out in my video. A lot. I had to cut out a lot. The game is also available on the Ubisoft Store, Epic Games Store, several consoles, and will even be releasing on Mac in the future. It's only $40, which is a great price for the amount of quality content there is in this game, and to celebrate its Steam release, Prince of Persia is 40% off on Steam for a limited time. You can find a link to the Steam release in the description below. Get it while it's hot. So yeah, great game, lots of fun. Really glad that I got to break it and discover a great new Metroidvania at the same time. But in any case, that's all I've got. Another big thanks to Ubisoft for sponsoring today's video, and until next time, take care of yourselves, be good to one another, and I'll see you all again soon.